The pros and the cons to living in Clearwater, Florida. Now, just like any other state or city, there's going to be your pros, there's going to be your cons. What I suggest doing in a situation like this is making a list, putting your pros on one side, your cons on the other, and seeing which one outweighs the other. Now, if you're new to this channel and you haven't already done so, take a second, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so that you're notified every time I release a new video. Because I'm always doing videos on what it's like to live here, what's going on in the community, and you're going to get a ton of information of what it's like to be here. Now, a lot of people are either relocating here because of a job or because they're just tired of the weather, or they're ready to retire, or they're looking for an investment home. Now, not that long ago I did a video on what the cost of living here in the Clearwater area is, and I'm going to put that down in actually the description of this video so that you can click on it and watch it when you're all done with this video. Now let's get started. My name is John Kinnanen, and I'm a local real estate agent servicing the Clearwater Beach area all the way down to St. Pete Beach area and the Tampa Bay area. If you ever have any questions about moving to the area, go ahead, shoot me a text or call me morning, noon, or night. I'm here for you. I've always got your back. Now, this is actually the second time that I've moved to Florida, not the Clearwater area. The first time I moved here, I lived in the Orlando area and I worked for Disney World. I was a lifeguard at Typhoon Lagoon. It was probably one of the best jobs I ever had, but I was young and it really didn't pay all the greatest at the time. So I moved back home. I ended up getting my architectural degree, and I opened up a restaurant up there in Michigan. Got my real estate license, decided I really liked real estate, but the weather wasn't the greatest. We, as a family, we love going to the beaches. The beach is kind of our thing. We love summertime, so we decided to move someplace where there was endless summers and there were beaches galore. We had been vacationing to the area for about 5 years before we decided to move here, so we already kind of knew where we wanted to be. And we weren't the only ones. A lot of people from the Midwest and all over the country are moving down to the Florida area. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the taxes, maybe it's the weather. I don't know, but there's a lot of people relocating to the area, and because of this YouTube channel, I'm helping hundreds of people from all over the world relocate to the area. Now, like I mentioned, there's a lot of people moving down to the Clearwater area. And this could be a pro or this could be a con, depending on how you look at it. Because there's so many people moving down here, the Clearwater area, there can be traffic congestion because there's a lot of people moving down here. It just depends on the time of day, but that's any city that you really go to. You know, at certain times you could go to the smallest city in the world and there could be a traffic jam in the middle of the town. There's always going to be traffic, there's always going to be people, but down here there seems to be more and more people moving. It is the #1 place that people are relocating to. Now, this is a pro. People down here are nicer. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the vitamin D, the extra vitamin D you get from all the sunshine. Maybe it's the weather. It's, you know, we have endless summers here. Now, this is definitely a pro. The walkability of Clearwater Beach is amazing. There's tons of things to do down there. You don't have to drive from one place to the other, really. Just find a place to park and park. Now, parking down there isn't that great. The Clearwater Beach parking actually fills up almost every weekend. There are places to park, like on the side streets and on Gulf Boulevard, but you have to pay for them. You're gonna pay about 15 to 20 bucks to park there, but it's worth it. You can walk everywhere you wanna go. Now, I mentioned the endless summers, right? Well, during the summertime, might be a con, depending if you don't like hot weather. During the summer here, it gets really hot, to the point where you're gonna sweat in places you didn't even know you had. But that also is a pro, because endless summers. Where I was from, we had 9 months of winter. We had 9 months of ugly weather. I called it the Michigan Gray. It would set in about October, and then it wouldn't leave until about March, April, May. The last year we were there, it lasted all the way until June. We didn't start getting nice weather until the second week in June, and that was really the last straw for us, and that's when we decided we're out. But if you're like us, you probably enjoy the nice weather. And during the summer, just because it's super hot out, you know, when you have your days off from work, we go to the beach, we go to the pool, we have tons of family time. It just puts us in a good mood. It doesn't matter that it's super hot. And then we go to the beach like maybe around 4 or 5 o'clock once the sun starts going down a little bit. We miss the hottest part of the day usually. This is definitely a pro. The lower cost of living and the lower property taxes. I did a video on it not that long ago. It'll pop up in one of the corners here, but I'm also going to put it down in the description so that you can click on it and watch it a little later if you'd like. But the property taxes here are lower. There's no state income tax. There's low property taxes. And if you buy a home down here and you make it your primary residence, you get a $50,000 credit off your assessed value, which works out to be about an extra $720 in your pocket. Now, you can afford more home here because the property taxes are lower. Now, a lot of people, when they think of the Clearwater area, they think of Clearwater Beach. And they think, oh my God, it's going to be so expensive. How can you afford to live there? And yeah, if you're on the beach side of things, the homes are going to be around, you know, $600,000 for a nice home. And the condos are going to range anywhere from between $700,000 all the way up to $3 million. Just depends on the amenities, when it was updated, things like that. There's a lot that goes into it, and I can talk to you about that if you'd like. I'll put my phone number down on the bottom of the screen right now, and you can text me if you'd like to. But there's going to be a home for everybody. You don't have to live on the island side. You can live over the causeway, right over the bridge, and the homes are going to be a lot more reasonable when it comes to pricing, and you're only about 20 minutes away depending on the traffic, maybe less. But you're going to have your fixer-uppers. You can find one that, you know, you can fix up for a fairly reasonable price, but there's also going to be the mansions on the island side that are on the Gulf of Mexico that are going to range. It's just going to depend on the size of the house, when it was updated, and where it's located. And if you're looking for the downtown Clearwater Beach area, the downtown Clearwater Beach, not downtown Clearwater, but the downtown Clearwater Beach area, you're basically going to have to buy a condo in one of the few condo developments we have there. If you go to the north of the island, that's where you're going to find more single family homes. Now those homes are going to be nice. They're going to be right by the beach most of the time. You're going to be like maybe 2 blocks away if that's what's important to you. Because a lot of people buy those homes, I'm not going to lie, and they use them only a couple months out of the year. They don't even use them at all, and they just use them as an investment property to generate income. It's up to you where you want to be. Now another pro, I touched on this a little bit earlier when I talked about how nice the people are down here, but the culture down here. It's very, very laid back for the most part, and there's always something to do. Always. You can always find live music. You can always find people just sitting outside enjoying the outdoor seating. I mean, I can't think of a restaurant that I go to that doesn't have outdoor seating, and I love being outdoors. It's just something that, I don't know, it puts me in a better mood. I don't like being there maybe during the hottest time of the day. But like I said, I go to the beach at that time, or I go to the pool, or I go to where there's a little bit of shade and just enjoy maybe the air conditioning for that time period. But there's tons of restaurants outside with outdoor seating. And because you're in Florida, the seafood down here is amazing. It's not like where we were living up in Michigan. We'd go to Red Lobster or something. I remember when my wife said one time, she was like, man, I really do miss Frenchie's. Their crab legs were amazing when we were down there. And, you know, I'm not a big crab leg person. I don't like working for my food, is what I always tell her. But she does. She doesn't mind it. There's also the super boat races, which happens the last September. There's also the super boat races that happen the last weekend in September. Those are always really cool. We like to go there as a family, and you can pay to watch them out at the end of Pier 60. I think it's a little bit more than a regular day. But you can also just float in the ocean and just watch it, and that's what we like to do. We always Love to watch the super boats. We go and we take a tour of them. There's the aquarium where the dolphin is from Dolphin Tale. They have tons of stingrays there, all kinds of fish there. And there's also the Sugar Festival in Clearwater, Florida, downtown Clearwater Beach, Florida. Actually, it's right by Pier 60. What they do is they have a bunch of people come in and they build a bunch of sandcastles. That usually happens right in the springtime. There's also volleyball tournaments that go on the beach that you can go and watch. Now here's a con. This is definitely a con. If you're used to coming down here on vacation, well, if you move down here, you're gonna have to work. Whether you work from home or you work at, you have to go to an actual brick and mortar place, you're gonna have to work. So you're not always gonna be on vacation. What I suggest doing though is taking a couple weeks off once you move down here so you can get adjusted, so you can get used to being in beautiful weather year round. And then eventually you're gonna come out of vacation mode and you're gonna be like, okay, I'm ready to go back to work now. But I suggest taking 2 to 3 weeks off just so that you can get used to the area and enjoy the area and celebrate that you just moved to the greatest state in the United States as far as I'm concerned. I love Florida. I love being down here. I wouldn't have moved down here again. I remember when I moved away from Florida and how I was like, after a couple years, I was like, man, I lived in the greatest state. Why did I leave? I should have just made it work. But then I wouldn't have met my beautiful wife and we wouldn't have our beautiful 7 kids. So you always have to think of that too. Everything happens for a reason. Now the next thing I want you to do is, if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this from, put it in the comments below and put why you're watching and where you're moving from. I'll definitely come back and answer any questions you might have, so put those in the comments as well. I love to hear from you. Like I said, I've made a video streamlining this process, the 6 steps to moving to Clearwater. I'll put it up here and I'll definitely put it down. It will pop up as one of the videos to watch next. If you ever have any questions about moving to the area, go ahead, shoot me a text or call me morning, noon, or night. I'm here for you. I've always got your back.